Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. And I was going to say, for once, I'm drinking water to be healthy. I thought I'd make a quirky title and do something a bit different. I know I do my list videos quite a lot, but as I say, every now and then you probably notice I do things a bit different. So hopefully I won't repeat myself too much. But yeah, I hope people will find this video interesting. And as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. To be honest, I haven't really planned it out that that much, but I have been thinking about this idea for a while, or these dreams, and I thought it'd be quite interesting if one day I write a book about it, or about these imaginations I have and dreams, like how I'd love for. I know I've mentioned this quite a few times, but how I'd love for neurodiverse people who are dyslexia and ADHD, especially, possibly even dyspraxia. I don't imagine there'd be many dyspraxics, but possibly a few, and autism perhaps as well. Again, I don't imagine there'd be a huge amount of people with autism, but especially dyslexia and ADHD, I would imagine. But it'd be cool if we had like the Dyslexic World Cup in Italy, or things like that, or the ADHD World Cup, which would be my ideas put into practice. Please let it be noted, you heard it here first, and I'm the one who came up with those ideas. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, no one else has come up with those ideas, so they'll be copying my ideas if they do. But anyway, yeah, it'd be great to work with FIFA and UEFA, and I'd love for Italian football and Celtic to work with. On that note, to work with organisations like FIFA and UEFA and N.G.O.s and charities to tackle things like corruption, poverty, crime, and all sorts of things, basically do football for good. And in the past, in 2006, Italy won the World Cup, and I should appreciate it a lot more at the time, but I did enjoy it, but the joy didn't last long enough as it should. And obviously those times don't come around too often, but I thought it'd be pretty cool if, and one of my dreams and prayers was for Italy to win 3 World Cups in a row, like 2006, 2010 and 2014, which I thought would have been quite an interesting story. Sorry to anyone if anyone from Brazil watches these videos, but no offense or animosity or whatever to Brazil, but I thought it'd be quite interesting because Brazil is the only country to have won more World Cups than Italy. Germany have won the same amount, but I often say in speech marks, sorry, in my habits, would have been the first country to win 3 World Cups in a row, and also we would have overtaken Brazil in their own backyard, so to speak. Sorry, I have a bad habit of putting things in speech marks, but anyway, I know when I'm speaking I don't really have to do that. But anywho, getting to the point, we would have overtaken Brazil in their own backyard, so to speak, and I thought that would have been quite interesting. Again, sorry to Brazil. One of the things I thought was, in order to make up for that dream, or if it did happen, like, or as I want Italy to become more successful than Brazil or any other country in football, soccer for any Americans, or calcio or footy or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, it would have been Brazil who we would have overtaken, or if we do get to there, we'd probably be Brazil who we overtake if we do get to that top spot. I thought maybe another quirky idea of mine, I thought I could probably buy from Brazil or support their economy to sort of make up for it. And I know Brazil is quite ethnically diverse, and I'm from a mixed race background, so it's a bit of a dilemma. But yeah, in a way, it's a dilemma as well. Just like with Spanish football in like European football, they're one of the few countries, as well as England, I think, that are ahead of Italy in terms of the trophies won by their club teams. And with it being a Mediterranean team, I kind of have a soft spot for Spanish football, but at the same time, they're like a competition in club team football for Italian teams, like La Liga, which is with the Spanish league, of course, is in competition with Serie A, which is, of course, the Italian league. But in terms of national teams, it's a bit of a dilemma because Brazil is Latin mainly, I suppose, and it's like quite mixed. And most people in Brazil apparently have some form of some level of rather Portuguese ancestry, but many of them also have African ancestry. So it's quite a mixed country. I think half the country is said to be mixed. Like me, I suppose, but so yeah, it is a bit of a dilemma. But because I, as an Anglo-Indian, support Italian football, I'd love to encourage my fellow Anglo-Indians or even Eurasians generally to support Italian football as well as Celtic, and also they play in blue, which I suppose people say black, white, and blue. So I thought it'd be another interesting story. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool if I could pen these into a book, preferably online, as well as like write them in notebooks and stuff like that, and share this story. But I thought I'd make a YouTube version as well, and possibly I might make a Facebook version as well, but on my Facebook Live. But so I do jump from point to point. But yeah, recently I thought like it'd be cool if Italy did win 3 World Cups in a row. And unfortunately, we didn't qualify for 2022, but I thought it'd be cool if we would have won 2022, 2026, and 2030. So by 2030, we would have been, well, I suppose we're on 4 World Cups and Brazil is on 5. So if we did win those, we would have been on, actually not much wrong, but we would have been on 7. So we would have actually been 2 ahead. But so, yeah, I thought that would be pretty interesting. And to me, if Italy won the most World Cups, I wouldn't really, if we were quite far ahead of other countries in terms of how many World Cups we've won, if we were like 2 or 3 ahead of other countries, which in football terms is quite a lot because they only come around every 4 years, the World Cups, I thought I probably wouldn't mind if Italy didn't do so well in another World Cup, because I think if you win all the time, it probably would get boring. Even if you won all the time or things were always good, it probably would get boring. But yeah, I thought it'd be pretty interesting, as I say, if Italy did win 3 World Cups in a row, and like winning 2022, 2026, and 2030. And but yeah, another thing I nearly forgot, and this is probably why I didn't plan it so much, but I have been thinking about it for a while, as I say. So I've kind of planned it, but not really properly. But you can probably tell by the structure of how of jumping from point to point. But yeah, I think it'd be quite cool if I can remember my train of thought. It would be quite cool if Italy would have won the World Cup this year, because even if we didn't, as we didn't initially qualify, but this happened once, I think, in football before, and that's with Denmark in '92. Denmark didn't qualify for the Euros. That was in the Euros, but again, I have a habit of putting that in speech marks. But the Euros, I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, it's on my patterns there. Another video I hope to make is about my patterns and stuff. But anyway, so getting to the point. Denmark won in '92, which is 30 years ago. So I thought it'd been pretty cool if Italy did that in the World Cup, like 30 years, pretty much 30 years later. And also Italy won the World Cup in '82 when I was born, the year I was born, which was 40 years ago. And also me turning 40 as well. So I thought it'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool if we won the World Cup 40 years after winning it before, although we have won it once in between. Also, if we won it 30 years after Denmark won the Euros without initially qualifying because a country got kicked out for political reason. I thought it'd be quite a cool story if the same thing happened this year with like Iran or Serbia or another country that for political reasons. Apparently Tunisia was going to be kicked out for like football reasons, like something to do with how FIFA doesn't like the football to be run in a certain country or something like that. If the politicians get too involved or something like that, although I would like Italian politicians to be able to support the football team legally, as long as they do it legally and within the rules and all that kind of thing, and work with FIFA under certain conditions, like if they do football for good and stuff like that, politicians would be able to have Italy as a tax haven, but some of the money, like 10% of the money, would go to charity as well, and that sort of thing. And like Italian teams also at club team level, on that note, to like be able to bypass financial fair play if they gave lots of money to charity, like if they gave 10% to charity, or prize money, they gave the prize money to charity for winning competitions. And I've got a few ideas on the club teams as well, like stories. But yeah, I thought that those would be quite interesting stories. And also, again, remember my train of thought. But yeah, if Italy did do those things, and like for political reasons, like 30 years after Denmark won, as I say, and 40 years after Italy won, and also 40 years after we won before, and also as I'm 40 as well, they say life begins at 40. So I thought that would be quite a cool story this year, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But yeah, if I could make these stories into books, like if they did sell, like people thought they were interesting stories, cool story bro and all that, although that's more sarcasm. But yeah, if they did actually like the stories, someone out there liked the stories, and I did manage to make money from them, I would donate that to the development of Italian football if I could. Like, especially if it made quite a lot of money, I would like donate it to like developing football academies so Italy could become the most successful, and hopefully do so within the rules of the game, most importantly. So like tackling corruption, which unfortunately Italy's been known for, in football included, and also, like as I often say, like the team I love, Italy, or the teams I love, Italian teams, and FIFA, unfortunately the sport I love, the governing body of that sport, have been known for corruption. So that's, I think, quite a shame. And also yeah, so it'd be good to change some of those things to tackle corruption in Italian football, especially, and in football in particular, generally speaking. Yeah, so I thought those would be pretty cool stories. I'd love to hear what you think about those stories. Like, if you're into football, obviously, do you find those stories interesting? What do you think those would have been quite interesting stories But yeah, if Italians practice, then another sort of, I was going to say catchphrase or whatever I thought of would be um, victorious through superior practice rather than like match fixing or cheating. So hopefully, if Italians practice a lot, we, no, I'm not, I know I'm not Italian, but as a fan of Italian football, I'll say we would win through superior practice rather than through cheating or match fixing or anything like that. So anyway, I hope I made some sort of sense. Sorry if I did ramble. I did want to talk about some of these thoughts on my mind, and I hope you enjoyed it, my quirkiness, and I'm out. Peace out.